Well, first of all, I think that we are facing a very challenging time in terms of the growth of the number and intensity of conflicts all over the world. There is an increasing number of interstate conflicts simultaneously with the acceleration of domestic internal conflicts, which requires mediation. And I think that the Middle Eastern countries, including Qatar, are really well placed as neutral countries who maintain contacts with the actors and the participants of multiple conflicts involved. They can and do play a very important role in mediating those conflicts. And I will give you an example from the conflict which is quite close to me, Ukraine war and Ukraine conflict. Qatar is playing an extremely important role in mediating between Russia and Ukraine on multiple humanitarian issues which are essential. The prisoners exchange, the so-called return of children, and so on and so forth, thus bringing this conflict closer to an end, and this makes this forum particularly essential. Well, I think that mediation becomes more complicated due to the reasons that you explained. Indeed, we are viewing the multiplication of conflicts, multiplication of challenges, the erosion of norms. We are facing a growing disorder at the global level and partially also in many regions. So this obviously requires mediation, but mediation becomes more complicated in this environment. So this is why the mediators, like the Middle Eastern countries, like Qatar or United Arab Emirates or Saudi Arabia, they actually should maintain neutral positions. They should preserve good and constructive relations with the major parties involved into the conflict, because otherwise, mediation requires neutrality and independence. Otherwise, the mediators would not be trusted and they would fail rather than deliver. So it requires a very careful balancing on the part of the mediators and more sophistication, obviously. Well, I think that one of the major challenges is just the number of conflicts that the mediators have to deal with. Secondly, it is a very deep mistrust, and I would even say hatred, between the participants of military conflicts. Again, Russia and Ukraine is a very good example. Both countries still speak in terms of prevailing, in terms of imposing their terms, rather than some kind of compromised, elaborated settlement. So this is, of course, the challenge that the mediators have to deal with. We are dealing with identity conflicts. We are dealing with huge mistrust. We are dealing with the propensity of the parties involved to break down the settlement and return to fighting in order to ultimately to try to prevail in the conflict. So this is why the mediators should be focused not just in bringing ceasefires or in bringing peace, but also they should work hard to create mechanisms preventing the resumption of the conflicts, preventing re-escalation of the conflict. So fundamental settlement is necessary, which is much a longer-term way than just the immediate ceasefire. Well, I think that the major change is that I understood that mediation is even more important than what was my impression before. Because indeed it is very complicated if you are a party of the conflict to end this conflict by settlement. If you can't win militarily, and this is precisely the situation in the majority of the conflicts which you face today, mediation is necessary. There is no alternative for mediation. So my change, the impact on my thinking is that mediation is even more important than I originally thought.